Just a quick little overview of kind of our series for this week. Today we will start with kind of an intro to Dynamics CRM Online. So this will kind of cover the basics of Dynamics CRM, kind of what's included, what are some of the licensing options, what do you get as for the subscription and things like that. And then we'll take a quick kind of overview look at the integration points with Office 365. So kind of look at a high-level view of where we touch with, or basically integrate and touch into Office 365. And then over the next few days, we'll go dive into those even deeper and kind of show you how do you set up the SharePoint integration, how do you set up the Exchange integration and Yammer and the Power BI and stuff like that. So we'll get into those a little more deeper in the next few sessions, but today's a little bit more of an overview of kind of the service and kind of how we integrate. All right, let me get to my actual slide deck here. All right, so you have one. Let me just go back here 1 second. Looks like we have one person with some audio issues. Let me see if I can get to the conference call slide here real quick. So I know you won't be able to hear me, but if you have audio issues, feel free to use this conference call bridge here to get that in. Let me just shoot them a quick message. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, so send that off there. All right, now let me get into my content here. So like I said, we'll start with the introduction to Dynamics CRM Online and kind of cover a little bit of overview and then jump into a demo, kind of demo what's available in Dynamics CRM Online. And we'll take a look at the service architecture, a little bit about what you get with the subscription and kind of where the data centers are, and then a little bit about the IUR options that you guys have. So Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online is Microsoft's hosted customer relationship management business solution. It helps customers deliver amazing customer experiences across sales, marketing, and service efforts. Oops, sorry, let me get back to my slide here. All right, the Microsoft Cloud for Business is about sales productivity. So when you combine power of Azure, the Azure platform, and rich productivity features of Office 365, and then add in the business value of Dynamics CRM, you get a sales productivity solution. Your sales team then can collaborate faster, communicate faster, collaborate easier, zero in on the right data that they need for their sales, and maybe even shorten that life cycle of their sales. So having everything in one spot, using tools that they're familiar with, and being able to then drive that customer experience and that customer collaboration a lot easier. Within the gamut of products that are offered by Microsoft, we do have a few kind of focusing in on the business application area. We do have a few products that are basically supported and sold by Microsoft, and we're focusing in on Dynamics CRM Online today. We will touch on Microsoft Social Engagement briefly on the last session of this week, just to give you an overview of what that is. But just for your reference, there are a couple other products out there, Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, along with Parature from Microsoft. Both of these products kind of help to extend the functionality of Dynamics CRM Online in the marketing area, as well as some of the service areas with portals and knowledge-based management solutions. So we won't cover those last two today or in this series, but there are other series of topics out there that that you may be able to get into later on down the road as we have more sessions like these. So as we look at kind of an overview of Dynamics CRM Online, it basically comes with three core modules. We have a sales module, a marketing module, and a service module. Also, the ability to kind of build your own, you can kind of call them custom apps or custom solutions, custom verticals, whatever you want to refer to them as. But that's really the power of CRM. You can kind of use it as a platform where you can build on top of the sales or marketing or service functionality to either meet a specific need of your customer or to build your own specific industry vertical, like a banking solution or a wealth management solution or whatever it may be. So that's really the power of CRM. And you'll see I'll do a little bit of in the demo today on kind of how easy it is to start customizing CRM. So that'll just be kind of the tip of the iceberg there, and there's a lot more you can do with it as well as you dive in deeper to the solution. From a mobile standpoint, with today's world, people are bringing more and more devices to work, whether it's tablets, phones, different laptops, using different browsers. And so customers and users, they want to use what they're familiar with. So if I have an Android device and I'm using Chrome or Safari, I want to be able to use those devices and those applications. And so CRM does have a wide variety of support for different tablets from Android, iOS, and Windows, as well as for the phones as well, for Android phones, iPhones, and Windows phones. So there's a specific app you can download in each of the stores that can connect to the CRM Online service and be able to access your data through those applications. And I'll demo one of those in a little bit. As far as browsers go, we support Internet Explorer, Safari on the Mac, and then Firefox or Chrome. So you have the four major browsers there to choose from as sort of how you want to access Dynamic CRM. And those that may be using a laptop or a desktop that has Outlook installed on it, you may want to access your CRM data through Outlook, and that is available as well. So you can actually get right from within Outlook, be able to track, send email, and actually view CRM information. And we'll do a little bit more demoing of that tomorrow in the second session today, and then look at it a little bit more too on the we talk a little bit about the Exchange integration. From a social standpoint, integration is kind of touch points with Yammer. So having the ability to communicate internally with each other on specific opportunities, leads, customers that are in the system, being able to just IM and instant message each other through Link, email customers, email each other through Exchange, share documents through SharePoint, build your own customer-facing portals, your own internal portals that can surface CRM data. So there's a number of ways to get data out of CRM or collaborate on the data that's in CRM through a number of mechanisms through, like I mentioned, Yammer, Link, or Skype for Business now it's called, SharePoint, and so forth. And we'll kind of dive in a little bit deeper into each of those as we go throughout the session. From a platform standpoint, I mentioned that we really have really flexible metadata as far as the ability to customize Dynamic CRM to meet your needs or build your own industry verticals that you want to build and maybe resell. But on top of that, we have an analytics and BI platform that allows you to build charts and dashboards right within CRM, but also yet flexible enough to connect right with Power BI and show that data right in the Power BI dashboards or within Excel. So a lot of variety there as far as how you want to report and pull data out of the system and analyze it. Workflows and guided processes are a couple ways that you can automate things in the system and as well as guide users through the system. Maybe you as your customers today have some processes where maybe they're a lot more manual driven, where they need to send lots of emails manually or update records depending on certain actions. Those can be done through a workflow that can alleviate a lot of that manual work that customers may be doing today. So there's always kind of room for making the system fit the business process that you have or that customer has within their environment. And then kind of on the similar lines, business rules and logic. CRM is getting to the point where back in the earlier days, if you wanted to have a lot of some more sophisticated logic, you probably would be writing some custom code, JavaScript, or something to interact with the forms. But as these releases keep going, we keep adding in more functionality where you can do a lot of things that used to take JavaScript or a developer to do. Now a power user without developer experience can go in and actually just with the pointing and clicking and dragging and dropping can add things to a form that could show fields based on a value of another field or hide fields based on a value, which used to take JavaScript, now can be done just in the application. And so really the business rules and logic are getting more and more user friendly, but we still have that developer platform where you can continue to extend it even further. And then as far as the deployment goes, we have, one second here, I think we have a couple more issues. Let me I gotta send out a link here real quick. Sorry about that. Okay. And so as far as the deployment platform goes, you have two options. Well, actually, you have three options for deployment. And we're focused on Dynamics CRM Online in the sessions today. But there is the on-premise aspect. So if you wanted to host the servers yourselves, install SQL, install CRM on top of that, you could deploy on-premise. Or there's also the partner-hosted option, where we have actually partners that will deploy the on-premise bits in their data centers, and they'll host it for customers as well. And you can kind of migrate between the two options. So like if you start with the cloud, get up and running quickly, you can maybe later on, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, decide that, hey, we have the servers, we have our own data center, we want to move to on-premise. Those options are available. So it's the same application in the cloud and on-premise. It's just a matter of where you want to deploy it. So let me see. All right, let me try to fix one more thing here. Sorry, it looks like we have a few more audio issues. Give me like 1 minute here so I can figure this out here.
The conference is now in talk mode.
Let's see if that helps at all. All right. So let me switch over to our demo here. So that was a quick little overview of, kind of one slide overview of CRM. So let me share my desktop here. And here. All right. So right here, I've logged into Dynamics CRM Online, and just a little quick kind of talk a little bit about the navigation structure here. At the top, we have kind of the menu drop down where we have access to our three main modules: sales, service, and marketing. So depending on which area you want to go into, if I click on sales, I get the sales area. So here's where I can go to see my leads, my opportunities, quotes, orders. The service side would give me access to more of the cases, queues, articles, and so forth. And on the marketing side is obviously the campaigns and the marketing lists access. So this is just kind of the default navigation. You can change it up and modify what you want to display where. Or if users don't have access to certain things, they just won't show up within here as well. So that's kind of a little bit of the navigation. And you'll see as you kind of drill down and go through, you kind of get the breadcrumb trail up here. So basically, if I was already in sales and then I went to dashboards, so you can kind of see the path of where you're at right now within CRM. And if you want to go ahead and quickly switch back to a different location, I can just hit the little drop down there. And now I can quickly go into leads, opportunities, and so forth. As I come over to the right here, I have a few other options, some recently viewed items. So if there's some accounts or some views that you regularly use and you want quick access to them, you can actually pin them up here. So like right now I have my active accounts and open opportunities pinned. So they'll always stay here for me so I can get right to them quickly versus navigating to opportunities and then going to that view. Same with a few records. I could pin maybe there's some items that I'm working on and that I know like this lead here I'm going to be working on for the next few weeks or so. So I can go ahead and pin that up here as well to give me quick access to that lead, to the account, and then it looks like I have a dashboard here that's pinned that I can quickly get to. This kind of just gives you a list of the recently viewed items that you have within the system. The next option, just kind of showing real quick, is what we call Quick Create. And you can customize CRM to determine which items you want in this list. So you could have custom entities in here as well. But basically what this allows you to do is have entities in here that you can select, that when I select them, I can quickly start creating a record with just the minimal data that I need to get an initial record created. And so I could say, let's do new lead, and that's really the only requirement I have right there, but let's just do for John Doe and operation. All right, so I go ahead and quickly save that. That's going to create the lead, and I could jump to the lead if I want to go see it, or I could create another. Just giving you a way to quickly enter data into the system right from the main ribbon at the top. Two other things I'll just kind of talk about quick up here is our quick find. This is actually a multi-entity search, so it actually does search across up to 10 different entities that you select. So right now I just search for adventure, and it comes back, and it looks like I have some accounts and some contacts that have the word adventure in them, or some contacts that are tied to these accounts. So you can use the multi-search here to search for certain values across a number of entities. And you can see if maybe I just want to search on just one, I could filter down and say I just want to see accounts, or I just want to see contacts, or I want to see everything. So that would come back like that. Now, if you need some more advanced searching, that's where the advanced find would come into play. And so that's the next item over on the top of the bar there. And so what the advanced find gives you is the ability to pick an area, so accounts, contacts, whatever you want to look for. And I can start with an existing view. So maybe I want to see all active accounts. So that gives me a starting point anyway. But maybe I want to change that and say, well, I want actually just the active accounts that are in a certain state. And so if I find my state field and see if I have any that are in Washington, I don't have any. I'm not sure if I have any in California. My data may have changed. So I guess I have one here in California. But basically what the advanced find allows you to do is basically define a query, and that query can be more complex than what I have here. You can actually go across entities. So right now I have a list of all the account fields, but maybe I want to actually come down here and say, give me all the accounts in California that have orders. And so I could pick orders, and just by picking that would then filter down all the accounts that don't have orders would be out of this list, and now I just would see the ones with orders. And so you can actually go do kind of querying across entities from this point. And any user has access to advanced find, because this is where they can come and they can actually tweak the out of the box views, and then they can actually click on save as and save this. Let's say California accounts with orders. And I probably don't have any orders on this, so it'll probably be a blank anyway, but I could save that, and now in my list of views, if I go over to my accounts and hit this drop down here, I have my, let me refresh my screen here, go over to my accounts. I should have, why is that not showing? One second here. Just want to hit a little refresh issue on my browser. I should see now is on the accounts. This works for me. I drop down. I now have my CA accounts with orders. So I could click on that, but I'm guessing the one I had didn't have any orders, so that's probably why it filtered it out. But as an end user, I could save that view, and then if I wanted, maybe this is a view that I'm going to use a lot, I could actually pin it and make it my default view. So anytime I go to accounts, it has that as my default view there. So that's kind of a little brief introduction there of kind of the navigation, a few of the options there. But let's go ahead and get a little bit more into each of the areas. Let's talk a little bit about leads here. So from the sales side, we have kind of the process or the flow of leads. Leads get qualified into opportunities. Opportunities can then be, you can create quotes off the opportunities. Orders can then be created from the quote and then invoices from the order. So we kind of have that full flow there, but you don't necessarily have to start or stop at basically from the beginning and end. You can start and stop anywhere in the middle. So if I wanted to start right with the opportunity, I could. If I wanted to go right to an order, I could. It's basically flexible to meet the customer's business process, but it does have that full lead to invoice flow within the sales module. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to go into a lead record here. So there's a few things that you'll see on the form that are kind of nice to take advantage of for even custom entities or any kind of process you may have. And that'll be the first thing you see at the top here is what we call this business process flow. And so what this can allow you to do is basically guide a user through the system. So as you think of maybe some processes you guys may have within your company from the sales side or some customers you've worked with, they may have, and this is just an example of one, maybe they have a process where they have a qualify stage, a develop stage, a propose phase, and then a close phase. What you can do is you can put the fields that you need to fill in, or basically the salesperson, whoever is filling out the lead record, here's the key things that we need to find out about this lead in order for us to qualify it and get it over to the develop phase. So for example, in this sample data, we need to figure out what's their estimated budget, what's the purchase process, have we identified the decision maker, what looks like a country, or actually a country here, yes. So there's a few things, and these are custom things that you can put in here. Also, you can make them required or not required. If they're required, then they can't go to the next phase until something is done. And some of these can just be checkboxes. So if it's like, yep, I completed that, or some of these are just drop downs that you can change, or money fields or date fields, whatever it is you need to fill in. But that business process flow can really help guide a user through the system, like I mentioned. But it's not just for just one record. So right now you'll notice I'm on a lead. If I go ahead and now I've filled all the required values in, and I go ahead and hit qualify. Assuming everything works for me here. This doesn't work. If I go ahead and hit qualify here, what this should do, there we go. Just take my click there. Is it'll pop me over to the opportunity record that it's creating. So right now, once I hit qualify, it's creating an account for me, a contact for me, as well as an opportunity. And for some reason, my screen's a little bit slower there. Refreshing, all right. But right now, you'll see it closed the qualify stage and jumped me into the develop phase. But the develop phase is actually in the opportunity. So I've actually just guided the user from a lead record to an opportunity record just by clicking qualify. And so they don't really necessarily need to know that, oh, hey, I need to go here to the leads to find this, or now I need to go to the opportunity to find this. They can just kind of start following this process, and that'll kind of guide them, like I said, guide them through the system. And now they have a new set of fields that they need to kind of fill in for the develop phase, and then some more for the propose phase, and then some more in the close phase. Now, if you have a 2-stage process or an 8-stage process, you can customize that to fit into here. Also, if you have multiple processes, CRM can handle multiple processes. And so, like you could say, if once the identified stakeholders is completed, just by clicking the complete, I could then navigate to a different stage automatically for that user based on an action or a field that they take over here. So the business process flow is getting more and more flexible throughout each of the releases, and being able to jump across processes was one of the last updates that we just had. So that's a little bit about the business process flow. You can then report on too, like show me all my opportunities in the develop stage, or how many opportunities do I have in the develop stage, or maybe what's the estimated revenue of all my opportunities in the develop phase or propose phase and so forth. So you can start getting some good reporting out of there as well. As I come down, let me just collapse this for a second. My screen's a little smaller here, so let me just scroll it down a little bit. There's still the standard fields on the form that you can have, and one thing that's nice about having this business process flow is if you're going to have some of these fields required, like later on in the proposed phase, you wouldn't want to have them on the form because you don't want them to be required right away, because any required fields on the form have to be filled in normally right when you save. But having them in this process flow doesn't make them required until that point in the process. So that's another nice advantage of that. You'll see as we get into some of the form customizations, you can start adding fields, your own custom subgrids like this, where hey, we have some stakeholders here that we want to tie to this lead. I can hit the little plus icon and I can either type in a name or do a search. Maybe let's just grab Bill here. Maybe Bill's one of the stakeholders with us, working with us on this opportunity. So I can pull them in. As I scroll down here, you'll notice that there's this thing called Insights. This is a third-party add-in that we've kind of worked with or collaborated with to offer free for the CRM Online subscription. So it's a solution you can install. But what this will do is this will actually do a search for the account name. And of course, right now, since I'm using fictitious data, it's not really going to show much. But let me just go ahead and just type in Microsoft here so I can get an actual valid company. So it does a search, and it finds different companies by the name of Microsoft or different branches or divisions. Let me just go ahead and select one here. If it only found one, it would then just jump kind of right into here. But what this little Insights does is it gives me relevant news for that company that we're working with, so I can find out a little bit more about them. I can click on data and see more information about the company. So I can see the address, the phone number. Maybe I didn't have that information before. What I could do is I could actually click this little sync button, and this would sync this data into my CRM record. So I have, my account information is up to date, the address, and whatever it may be, it would be up to date with what the information that the Insights plugin found. I can also look to see if there's people, excuse me, people at the company that maybe I can try to get a meeting with. So maybe I'm looking for like a sales manager or the CEO or CTO. I can go ahead and see if I can find someone maybe on the sales side, and maybe if I can go ahead and contact them. If I want to sync them into CRM, I can click on sync and it'll create them as a contact record. So this is just giving you a way to find more information about people you're working or you're trying to collaborate with and trying to close deals for, as well as maybe some inroads to some people that may work there that maybe or maybe someone on your LinkedIn profile, or maybe a good college buddy you had now is a brother-in-law to someone at this company. By putting in your LinkedIn profile information and you're using your LinkedIn contacts, it can kind of find those connections with maybe someone at this company, depending on who you're looking for. So that's just another advantage of the Insights application. So if I scroll down here, I can actually go into the Insights settings and actually see some of that information with the Inside View, the LinkedIn profile in this Inside View application. A few more things I'll just talk about quick here is, and we'll get into this a little bit more in the second half, is access to Yammer posts right within the form, as well as all the activities. So maybe it's like, I don't have any activities since we just created this opportunity. But maybe I did a phone call with this person. I could take some notes. I could hit OK. All the activities that we do are going to be right front and center on the form. If you want them that way, you can always move them somewhere else or kind of customize the form to meet the customer's needs there. But having access right to the right to the activities. If we add a task here, maybe let's do a follow-up task. But maybe this was actually due. Let's see, it was due last week. Let me just get this in here. I am able to filter the activities by overdue, so I could see if there's any activities that I haven't completed yet with this opportunity or account that I'm working with, and so forth. I can quickly enter notes in. So if I want to put in some notes about this customer, maybe attach a document and click done, I could do that. The OneNote integration we'll talk a little bit more about tomorrow when we talk about SharePoint, but this gives you the ability to have OneNote, instead of taking notes that are just shared or just stored right in CRM, you can take them in OneNote so you can share them with more people within the company through SharePoint. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. All right, so that's kind of an overview of kind of some things you'll see on the forms, as far as the business process flow. You'll see that on case records, on leads, on opportunities by default. You can turn it off if your customer or you don't want it on there for some of those entities, or if you want to build your own business process flows for your own custom entities or for your an account. Maybe you have an account process where you want to use this kind of similar process on the account entity. You can definitely do that as well. Another nice thing too with Dynamics CRM is, I mentioned earlier, is the analytics, so some of the charting and the reporting. And so right in line within CRM is you can have your own custom charts. So here's, I pull over on the right-hand side some of the out-of-the-box charts. So I can see top customers by estimated revenue. Maybe I want to see my sales pipeline. So some of these are just out-of-the-box charts. You can create your own charts. Users can create their own personal charts that only they can see if you give them the privileges to create charts. And then they can also share them with others if they want to share out their charts. But the reporting capabilities or the charting capabilities are pretty easy, simple to do as far as creating. The only thing you really need to do is give it a title. Let's say demo chart. And know 2 fields you may want to report on. So if I just say, I just want to do a count of all the opportunities, I could just pull in any field and do a count. If I wanted to do something by the estimated close date, actually not, let me just do this topic, and let me do estimated close date down here. I could do month, week, day, quarter, year. There's different operators I could use. So if I want to do maybe by quarter, I can see that. So now I can see the number of opportunities I have that are basically by quarter. So let me just save this real quick. This is just a quick, simple example, but let me just close this. So now I have this by quarter. As I go ahead and change the different options over here, maybe instead of just looking at open opportunities, I want to just look at 1. So that's going to shrink down, but I can still use this chart I just created. So basically it's based off the data on the left-hand side. Or if I want to look at, it looks like I had some blank records. Let's go ahead and drill into those. Maybe I need to update those. I can click on those and drill in just to the 7 that make up that data. So the charts are pretty powerful for just a quick analysis of the data, but being able to drill down and navigate through the charts to navigate down to certain data as well is very helpful. You'll see that on any entity, on any grid, basically grid view that you're on, is you can pull over the charts menu. And we don't have out-of-the-box charts for every entity, but you could create your own charts for those entities that don't have them, or for your custom entities as well. And the other nice thing too is, as you're creating these charts, you can then start adding them to dashboards. So if I go over to the dashboards are basically all it's doing is taking a chart that you already have in the system, tying it to a certain view you have in the system, a view of data, and then displaying it on the dashboard. And so you can create any number of dashboards that you want and tie them to individual roles in the system. So you could have sales manager dashboards, salesperson dashboards, maybe the CEO dashboard, customer service dashboards, kind of unlimited number of dashboards there for the different roles at your company. And they are real-time dashboards. They are up to the minute. So the time you come into here, they are refreshed each time you come back. All right, let me go back. And I'm going to go to the opportunities again. So from the opportunities, let me grab my open opportunities one more time. Maybe you like working in Excel a little bit more, doing some analysis of the data in Excel. And maybe the charts you have over here just quite aren't what you're looking for. You want to do some stuff in Excel. You have a couple options. You could go ahead and export your data out of CRM into Excel. And so you could do a static list where it would basically grab a static snapshot of the view that we're looking at. Or we could do a dynamic worksheet where instead of taking just the data, it actually takes the query. So it takes this open opportunities query and basically keeps that query open. So if I refresh the data in Excel, it'll refresh it, and I can actually see new data as it gets entered into the system. I can see that new data show up in Excel. The other feature that was just added in the last release is this Open in Excel Online. I can quickly, if I just want to do some quick analysis of the data, and I close this stuff here, it can open up basically that Excel file right in Excel Online. But as you notice, I'm still in CRM, so I still have the CRM header up here. But now I'm actually in Excel, and I can do, maybe I want to do some different, charts in here, do some analysis of the data. Maybe I want to update some of the data. Maybe I want to kind of mass update some of these, hot, cold, and so I can do some mass updating, right in Excel here. And when I'm done here, I can actually click on Save Changes to CRM, and that'll upload that data that I changed and actually update it in CRM. So it's a nice little quick bulk edit option here, but also it gives me the ability to do some charting and stuff. Obviously, when I'm done here, if I were to put some charts on this page or do some analysis, and I close this out, it's not going to save that chart. It's just mainly more for some quick analysis or quick updating of a bunch of data. And then I could go ahead and click on Save Changes to CRM, and that'll basically go ahead and upload that data back into the system. So tell me here a little bit. The data has been submitted for import, and then I should import and update in the next probably 30 seconds to maybe a minute, depending on how long it takes to import. All right, so that's a little bit about the sales module. So again, this is just some kind of high-level overview, just kind of get you oriented with CRM, kind of what capabilities are in there for those that have not seen CRM before. Let's jump over to the service module. But before I do that, I'm going to jump over to my Outlook, my own personal Outlook here. I'm going to go ahead. I am a customer of this company that we're logged into CRM with, and I'm having an installation issue. So I want to send an email to their support team. So I have their support email address here. So I'm going to go ahead and just select that. I've already typed up the issue here, so I'm just going to hit send. So that's going to get sent off to the company that we're logged into CRM with here. And so we'll see that here in just a little bit. So I want to just do that a little ahead of time. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to the service module. Service module, like I mentioned earlier, is kind of where you'll find like the cases, our service calendar, queues, KB articles, and so forth. A few nice things that we have, and actually I'm just going to go over to settings real quick and show you the the admin side of the service center first. So as you come in, like I mentioned, we have queues in CRM. And so right now, that email I just sent is going to an email address that we actually have set up in our Exchange environment, but we have a queue in CRM that's monitoring that mailbox for any emails that come into it, and it's going to pull them into CRM. So you can set up queues in CRM, and then what you can do with that is you can have some automatic creation rules. So basically say, hey, when a new email comes in to a certain queue, I want to create a support case for that email and then get it into our support queue. And so let me just open up this real quick here just to kind of show you. And this used to have to be done all with like workflow or custom workflow activities, so a little bit of coding involved. Now it's all done through point and click through the application. And so basically you can tell it which queue you wanted this rule to be for. There's some options here of, do you want to create records for unknown senders? Do you want to create cases for, resolved cases? And if you say yes, this is, well, how many days can the case be closed for before we open up a new case? And then do you want to respond back with an acknowledgement saying, hey, we got your issue, we'll respond to you within, X amount of hours or whatever it may be. So all that is done through this little record creation rule here. And then you can also tell it what fields on the case you want to fill in. What's there by default, or what do you want to pull from the email. That's all editable from this case creation rule. The other thing to kind of add to that too is once this case is created, you could have some routing rules that would say, if the case is high priority, go to the escalation queue. If the case is low priority, go to the tier 1 queue or general support queue or something. You could have different routing rules set up based on information in the cases. And then I'll talk just a little bit or a little overview of there are the ability to have entitlements and service level agreements. So you could have entitlements that say, maybe you sell a support contract to each of your customers, or they get one for free when they purchase a product. Maybe they get 5 incidences that they can use for the first year. So you can have an entitlement that grants them those 5 incidents, and then as they use them, we decrement the incidents, whether it's a strict count of incidents or a number of hours. You can define those within the entitlements. And then the service level agreement is, maybe with those 5 incidents, they get 8-hour response time. And so once a new case is created, a clock starts ticking, a little timer on the SLAs. You can see which cases are nearing expiration and need to be picked up. So there's been a lot of enhancements into the service area over the last few releases, and so there's just a couple high-level things there that we have. Let's go ahead and just jump over to our cases now. Let me go back to the service module. Go into cases. And just like looking at your leads or opportunities, again, you're going to have the chart options on the right-hand side. So I could have different metrics about the case view here. I'm not sure if I have a good one to show demo here, but since I basically own all these cases myself. But so here I have a bunch of cases, and let me just go into one. I don't know if the new one's come in yet. So that takes a minute or two to show up. So if I go into a case record, again, similar to what we saw on the lead and opportunity, you're going to have the process flow bar at the top, where you can have a certain process that you can, as an engineer works through a case, maybe there's certain things they need to do. So in this case, identify, research, and resolve. There are a couple sample options there, but again, as I scroll down the case on the case form, I can see the SLA information, and I'll open up the new case once we get it here, so that'll have the timer going. But I'll have the SLA that we need to respond by. They'll have any entitlements that this customer has and how many remaining incidences they have or hours. And then as I scroll down a little bit further, I can get some more information about maybe other cases. Maybe if there's a similar case, I can tie those together. Or if I need to merge a couple, maybe there's some duplicate cases from one customer, I can merge them together. Or maybe there's a parent case, but there's a number of issues on it, and I need to create some child cases. I can do that as well. And then I can also associate knowledge base articles from our knowledge base to this case as well. So that way I can kind of keep a track of what articles are solving certain issues that we may have within CRM. Now, as an engineer, as I'm probably working on a queue, I'm probably looking at queues throughout the day to see what new is coming in, what I need to work on. And so if I come over here, I can actually see all the items in a specific queue, or I can see all items in one queue. And so here I can see a bunch of items that are available or that are in the queue, and I can see which items are available to work on. So which ones haven't been picked up by anyone? Well, here I can see there's a bunch here, so I can actually start grabbing some cases, and I can say, let's go ahead and pick this one. And that's going to go ahead and pick this off the normal queue, and it's actually going to put it into the items I'm working on. And so now I have this case in my queue that I'm working on, so no one else will work on it. So there's some queue functionality built in for the support side. You can use this same queue functionality for maybe you do a bunch of lead calls or cold calling. You could send a bunch of leads to a queue and have people grab those leads off the queue to make phone calls. So they're not just for the service side. You can use it in other ways too. Let me see if that case has come in yet. Okay, I put it on. Filter the right way here. Yeah, so installation error came in just a few minutes ago. So if I go ahead and click on that, you see it has a little email icon by it because it saying that it came in through an email, basically through a queue. And it has some of the default information from the customer that we picked up from the email address. And it tied a support contract to it. And if I scroll down just a little bit, here you see the timer's going. I basically have an hour to do the initial response for this one. And as this starts getting down, you can have, once it meets a certain warning point, it can update CRM to say nearing expiration. And you can have a view in CRM that shows which cases are nearing expiration or so forth. So you can kind of use that timer to query the data and list in the order of which one you should take first. But that's just one little kind of quick example of just an email from a customer coming into a specific queue. We'll talk a little bit more on Wednesday about the email setup and some of that functionality and actually setting up the queue that we just did here. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about that. Excuse me. Let me go over to the marketing module real quick. And from the marketing side, this is where you can, now that you have a bunch of, prospects, contact data, account data in the system, you want to be able to create some marketing lists and be able to send them some mass emails. And so the marketing list would be one way to do that. Would be I can come in here and I can create two different types of marketing lists. I can create a static or a dynamic. And let's go up here. And so what the static list is going to allow you to do is you can select some contacts and add them into the list, but that list is going to stay the same until you manually go in and change it. Hence the name static. It's going to stay static until you physically make a change to it. But if you want, probably the more used one is that dynamic list. And so you can target it at your accounts, your contacts, or your leads. So I just do contacts. And let me just go ahead and save this. Once I save the initial marketing list, then I can actually develop the query that I'll be able to use to pull the data from my system. And you'll see it's very similar to it's basically using an advanced find. So if you already have a view set up that shows specific contacts, you can go ahead and use that view. Click on find just to see how much data it finds. It's like it found 19 records here. I can go back to the query, edit it, basically get to the point where I want it, and then I can just click on use query. And now that's going to save that query with this marketing list. Now anytime I go to use this marketing list, it'll actually rerun that query. And when it reruns the query, it'll pull in or drop out anyone that doesn't meet that criteria anymore. So that's a little bit about marketing lists there. And then I can use them in two different campaign types. We have quick campaigns, and we have kind of more of the full campaign where you want to maybe track some more metadata around, when's the campaign start date, what are some of the planning activities I want to do or need to do before we relaunch, how much is the campaign costing us, and so forth. So that would be kind of the full campaign. The quick campaign is, hey, I have a marketing list, I have an email template, and I want to send it out. And it basically takes you through a nice little wizard where I can basically give it a name. I'll say test demo. I can pick how I want to basically send this out. This is where you could also do, say you were doing cold calling. I could create a bunch of phone call activities and assign them to a queue and have people take them off the queue if I wanted to. But more likely, I'm probably going to do an email. Go ahead and hit next. Choose use the template, and I could pick the template that I have here, hit select, and then now I have that template, and I'll hit next, and I hit create. Now by doing that, it's basically just going to send out that template to those records that I have there. I'm just going to hit cancel here because I have a bunch of invalid email addresses anyway. But that'll go ahead and send out that email just quickly, getting it sent out versus having to track a lot more information around the campaign. And if anyone replies to that email, it will get tracked as a campaign response that I could then convert to a lead, convert to an opportunity, or respond back to through email as well. All right, so that's a little bit about CRM at a high level again. So sales, service, marketing. I did mention. Let me just go back to my desktop here. I did mention that we have a few tablet applications for now. So this one is basically we have a tablet application and then we also have a phone application. As far as the tablet goes, you're going to see very similar look and feel across devices. So right now I'm just running this on my Windows 10 desktop, or I should say laptop. But this is what I would see if I was running on an iPad, running on an Android device, running on Surface, or any other Windows tablet. But basically what this is doing is connecting to CRM Online, pulling the same set of data down, but in a little bit more touch-friendly device. So I can kind of, as I'm using my finger here to have a touch screen, I can scroll across. I could drill into an account record. I can update an account record. I have full edit capabilities. Maybe I want to update the account number there, say 202 or something like that. And so I can, again, full editing capabilities. Let me go ahead and go back. Let me go into one of our opportunities. We were just looking at, an opportunity earlier on in the web app where we had the sales process. That sales process is still here in the tablet app. So as I click on each of these, I can still see the items that I need to focus on in order to close this deal. I can start checking these off. Maybe I've not done this stuff here. If I want to close out the opportunity, if I kind of press and hold, or if I'm using a mouse, I can right-click. I have close as lost, close as won. So I'm not losing any of those functions I probably normally would be doing in the web app. Just because I'm on a tablet, I still have access to those. I can reassign to someone else, and so forth. If I go back to the home page here, again, I have a list of activities. If I complete these activities, I can quickly go ahead and check those off, and that's completing them on the server side. I can see a list of all my items I have access to, including custom entities. So if you have a custom entity and you want to make it available in the tablet app or the phone app, you can do that. All the dashboards that you have access to, you can make them available for the mobile client. So if I click on a select dashboard, I can see all the dashboards that right now that I've made available. And these are the same dashboards that are in the web client as well. So if I want to see a user, here's a list of user pipeline, a custom one I did for a different demo. But again, just kind of showing you don't lose functionality. But you got the main functionality that you need in a mobile app on a smaller device, but more of a touch-friendly interface. Again, I can do a search here, and that goes across entities. So again, the same three it found when we did the multi-entity search on the website, found the same on the tablet side as well. So that was just a quick little view of the tablet app that you can download for iPad or basically Apple devices, Android devices, or Windows devices. The phone apps, I don't have it here to demo. What the phone app will give you is more of this same look and feel, but on a smaller device. So it'll show kind of one section at a time. And so basically it'll show this chart first, and you can swipe to this chart, swipe over to this chart, or look at a list of your activities, swipe over, see a list of your opportunities, swipe over, and so forth like that. So just a smaller form factor, same concept as you see here in the tablet app. All right, I'm going to jump back over to my slides for a minute. Get to here, so check time here. All right, a few other things that we'll talk about. So just a quick, we'll touch a little bit more on this tomorrow. We talk about kind of the competitive aspects of CRM, but kind of as you saw, some of the things that I demoed, or the things we talked about in the slides before this, being able the choice of CRM, cloud, on-premise, always connected through mobile devices or through the web, through Outlook. Just some of being able to personalize the system, as you saw with the charts and the dashboards. Those are just some of the ways that, or some of the things customers really like about Dynamics CRM Online and why customers choose CRM Online. But again, we'll talk a little more about that tomorrow when we look at the kind of the compete information. So when you do sign up for CRM Online, what is included in the service? And so initially you get 5 gigabytes of storage. You get and actually, I should have updated this. The 200 individual workflows are actually, that limit's been removed now, so you can create as many workflows as you want. And actually, that was just updated. So sorry, I forgot to update the slide there. You can get up to 300 individual custom entities. And when I say custom entities, this would be you're creating a brand new, basically a brand new table in SQL. So similar to like accounts, contacts, opportunities, leads, those are all entities. You could create up to 300 custom entities, which is a lot. I mean, I think CRM itself has about 300 entities for the whole system. So that, you know, it's a limit, but it's not anything that you're probably going to run into anytime soon. You do get offline access through the Outlook application, because we actually have an offline sync through Outlook. And then you get access to all the mobile apps. So the mobile apps are free; they're included with the service. All you need is your subscription to sign into in order to use the mobile apps. Some of the benefits by using CRM Online, it's real time, it's location independent access. So I mean, you could really be anywhere in the world and access your CRM environment. Depending on your location, like if you're in North America, your main tenants, your main subscription will be in one of the North America data centers. If you're in Europe, you'll be in one of the Europe data centers and so forth. There's a few other benefits, low upfront costs and rapid provision. A lot of customers, a lot of partners, they'll start in online just because it is so much quicker to get going versus having to install the server, install SQL, and just kind of get everything up and going for an on-premise deployment. Even if they plan to maybe go to on-premise as kind of their ultimate goal, they may start in online first, get maybe a trial going, maybe get a proof of concept going, and then they move to on-premise later on if that is the desired goal. Or just getting up and running in CRM Online and getting going there. It's basically rapid provision. You can get an org within a couple minutes of signing up. It is hosted by Microsoft, and it does come with a 99.9% uptime SLA. So if we do drop below that, there are reimbursement capabilities that your customers can take advantage of there. You also get, basically when you first sign up for the 30-day trial. It'll give you 25 users. And with those 25 users, you get it for 30-day free trial, and then you can purchase right on the web there. Or if your customers are through line licensing or enterprise agreement, they can purchase CRM Online through those avenues as well. It is a monthly prescription, or monthly subscription. So it is a per user per month. And we'll talk. I guess we talk a little bit more about this in the next slides. But there are some benefits with having a CRM Online user subscription. You can actually get dual use rights to an on-premise environment. So if you do have a customer that is thinking about on-premise, but they want to maybe get started in the cloud, a user license in the cloud does give them access to an on-premise license as well. So there's some nice capabilities there. That was just updated. Getting a little bit of background noise here. As far as data centers go, we are in a number of data centers throughout the world. We have 3 right in the Americas, 1 in the South America area or region, a few in Europe, some in get my maps right here in the APGC region, and then we have some that actually just opened during the course of this calendar year for Japan, Australia, and we do have a government option as well. So just like if those of you that are familiar with Office 365 and having kind of the dedicated government subscriptions, CRM Online is included in there as well. So you can get CRM Online for government. And just like Office 365, we adhere to a number of compliance and data protection rules and regulations, and we strive to meet and be on the leading edge of some of the ISO certifications and so forth. So I'm not a compliance expert, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with this, other than letting you know that in the slide deck there is a link to our Trust Center site that does have a lot of information about how we meet some of how we kind of test or meet these compliances. and then also just a little bit more about Office 365 and the architecture itself, kind of the security behind it. So there's a lot of information on the Trust Center site should you have customers asking about security and so forth. So you as a partner do have access to some internal use rights. Whether you're gold or silver, you have some access to CRM Online. If you have some the CRM competency or CRM cloud competency, you have some additional access or additional licenses you can utilize. So I just have this slide here that you can click. You can use the links to find out more information if you're not using your IUR today. We do have an actual IUR session going on. Actually, I just presented one last week, but we have one coming up in October, one in November, and one in December. So if you're interested in taking advantage of your IUR options, you would be able to utilize those, or even attend those webinars if you want to learn more about how to take advantage of your IUR. All right, so that concludes the first slide deck. Let me just double check for questions here. Quick question is, our salespeople want to create contacts and accounts from a lead without turning it into an opportunity. How would I be able to modify the process to provide them this functionality? So that's a good question. And I'll take a note down here. There's a couple ways you can do that. And I did see a blog post for one of them where you can create a plugin. And on that plugin, it would actually kind of cancel or stop the opportunity creation method that the qualified lead calls. So that would be one way. The other way I saw kind of was more of a creative way was they would let the lead or the opportunity be created, but they would have a bulk delete job that would go in and delete leads every day, delete opportunities every day that met a certain criteria. That one, maybe not the best option, but it's another, kind of a unique solution to that problem. So, but I'll make a note here to send those blog posts out. That way you'll have them, and then you can see if those will work for you. But the plugin one is probably the easy, or I shouldn't say easiest, because it takes a little bit of custom code, but it's got some of the samples right in the blog post. All right. So let me switch over to my second deck here. And now, still kind of looking at an overview, but this is going to focus a little bit more on the integration points with Office 365. And so this is going to be, again, at a higher level overview, and we're going to drill into each of those features over the next coming days. So we'll first take a look at CRM Online and the integration benefits, and then a little bit about the administration portal area. And again, I'll be doing a lot of that in a demo as well. And then we'll take a look at some licensing and pricing information. All right. So, with the customer, or basically with your employees, it's not always enough to have the best people, the best employees, in order to have a strong, successful company or sales. You really need tools and that really help motivate your employees to really give their 110%, maximize their interactions with their customers, giving them the capabilities to quickly, find the customer's information when they need it, be able to process that information and, work with their customers on a quick basis. And so really with Dynamics CRM and including Office 365, there's kind of three areas to call out. Sales effectiveness. Dynamics CRM works with the Office suite of products that users are already familiar with. So Outlook, Excel, Word, OneNote, maybe Yammer and Skype for Business. And those are just maybe tools that customers, some of them may already be using, especially like Outlook and Excel are pretty common. But maybe some are already using Yammer or Skype for Business and things like that they could plug in Dynamics CRM right into and just get the added benefits of the customer relationship management software. Being more productive, so anywhere access to your CRM data, being able to email from Outlook, but basically pulling in CRM information, just having those tools together, right, to be more productive on a mobile device or on your phone, whatever phone or tablet or laptop, doesn't really matter where you're accessing the data from. And then a flexible solution. So we didn't really get into the customizations, a lot yet, but being able to easily customize the system to meet their business needs and not having to change the business to meet the software's requirements. And then also, as we get into the pricing and licensing area, you'll see just having a nice cost and savings bundle around CRM and Office 365 just to lower that total cost of ownership for your customers. So really, when we add Dynamics CRM and Office 365 together, again, we look to increase productivity, maximize the employees or the customer's effectiveness, as well as reduce the cost. So let's just go through a little bit about how we integrate with each of the Office 365 products. And again, we're focused on the cloud for this series. We do have some of these integrations with on-premise products as well. So for those that maybe have some on-premise customers, there are similar capabilities that we'll talk about today as well. But as we look at Exchange Online, we basically have 3 touch points into the Exchange environment. The first one is through Outlook. So as your clients or your employees install the Outlook component onto their laptop, they actually install the bits. They can install the CRM add-in on top of that and actually connect to Dynamics CRM Online and see some of the CRM data there. And I'll show that here in a little bit during the demo. Server-side synchronization is another way that we actually connect CRM, basically the CRM server and the Exchange server together. And so we actually set this up for you by default if you have Exchange and CRM in the same subscription in Office 365. And again, we'll talk about that again on Wednesday of ours, how that's set up and what you need to do. But we may try to make it easier since you're already in the same subscription. Why not try to connect those two together for you and alleviate a lot of the admin tasks that you would have to do. And then the third option we do have is the email router. Email router is what we used to use before we had server-side synchronization, but now the email router is kind of getting phased out, but it's still used in those hybrid scenarios where we're connecting CRM Online to Exchange on-premise or Exchange Online to CRM on-premise, so the vice versa there. But basically what these components allow you to do is send and receive email out of CRM and track that information right into the system, sync your contacts, your tasks, your appointments down to Outlook. And so with server-side synchronization, I don't need to have my Outlook up and running. That back-end sync is going on constantly. And so if I were to log into my phone or log into my Outlook web access, any contacts that were in CRM and I own them, and my sync rules say sync down all contacts that I own, so it would show up on my phone, on my tablet, in the Outlook web access as well, because they're in Outlook, or they're in Exchange, I should say. With the Outlook clients, you'll see, and again, we'll get into a little more of this in the demo, but just the ability to track and set regarding and see what emails are tied to what information in the system, just quickly and easily right within Outlook without really taking up too much real estate. We can quickly see what items in CRM this email is tied to. Do I want to track it? Do I want to convert it to a lead or an opportunity, and so forth. So we'll get into more of that in the demo. So on the SharePoint side, for those that are familiar with SharePoint, SharePoint has a lot of collaboration capabilities, and there's a lot of things you can build out with workflow and things within SharePoint. But where Dynamics CRM fits into SharePoint is in the document library space. So we basically use SharePoint as a document library location where we can basically upload documents in CRM, but they're actually going into SharePoint. And one advantage of that is they're not just in CRM where only CRM users can see them. They're in SharePoint. So if I have users or managers that may not be in CRM, they could still go into those documents. Granted that I give them the right permissions to do it. They can still go into those documents, collaborate on them, work with me on them, and then basically we can be able to kind of finish up, or maybe we're doing a proposal or something. We can get that information easily collaborated on and finished up in a timely fashion. So kind of the user experience there. Again, I'll go through this in the demo, but I have some screenshots in the slide decks just for your preference later on. But being able to quickly create an Excel doc, a OneNote doc, a PowerPoint, or a Word doc right from within CRM, but then also upload those documents and other documents into SharePoint as well. From a Skype for Business perspective, the few ways that we kind of tie into Skype is we use the presence information. So as for those that are familiar with Skype, or with what used to be called Link, you get the little green, yellow, red notifications, whether the user is available, busy, in a meeting, or do not disturb. We get that information right in CRM, and so you can see the top screenshot kind of off to the right, there's 3 little circles, 2 of them are red and 1's green. So we get that presence notification that, hey, it looks like Max is online here. I could quickly click on the little presence icon and do an IM chat with him, or call him, or send him an email. Basically just taking advantage of Skype functionality, or Skype for Business functionality, but accessing it right from within CRM. Another way that we kind of take advantage of the link and Skype access is clicking on a phone number in the system will automatically launch Skype for Business for me, and I can then place that phone call. So I don't have to copy and paste or look for the phone number and type it in. I can just basically click the dial almost. So. And then any meetings that I would create, I can track those in CRM as well. That's a little bit more on the Outlook functionality side, but if I meeting with some of the contacts or anything like that, that's part of that I've seen with the presence information, I can track those activities in the system. A little bit about Yammer. So maybe just kind of step back a little bit. So those that may not be familiar with Yammer, Yammer is an internal website, basically internal collaboration website that you can use as a company, as a sales team, as a service team, whatever teams want to use it to collaborate on specific topics, specific items. One example we have here in Microsoft, we use Yammer for pretty much every team, every group, every project. So you basically can have private groups, public groups that you can set up that you can basically go in, think of like Facebook, but more for an internal use. You can go in, you can post questions, answer questions, send attachments, basically upload attachments, and that's all stored in Yammer. So if me, for example, I'm a member of one of our licensing Yammer groups. And so a lot of times I'll go out there, if I'm looking for a licensing question, I'll just go out there and search and see what other questions people have asked and what answers they've gotten. And a lot of times I find my information just self-serving based on my searching in Yammer. So it kind of gives you some of those capabilities that would allow you to, again, collaborate internally with your employees, but also have kind of a knowledge source of information there that you can utilize. So how we integrate CRM with this is we actually place the Yammer feed if you're integrated with it. So if you don't have a Yammer subscription, you won't turn it on within CRM. But if you have a Yammer subscription and you enable it, we embed the Yammer feed right in the middle of the forms. And so I kind of showed you that initially when we were looking at like the leisure opportunity. It showed Yammer and then the system messages. And so right in there, I could quickly post information about maybe that lead or the opportunity I was working on, and then get people to respond back to me. And they may not even be a CRM user. They could be just a Yammer user, maybe even a Yammer user. They may be traveling have the Yammer app on their phone. They could respond through that, and that would show up in CRM based on that Yammer feed. So again, I'll show that here in the demo too. And then the nice part about having Dynamic CRM Online right in Office 365 is the administration portal is one spot. It's one place you add users, one place you add licenses, one place you go to monitor for service health, one place you go for service dashboards, and login support cases or whatever it may be. So it's basically one location, and we'll kind of take a look at that in the demo as well. Let me just stop here quick, see if there's any new questions. Okay, those are already there. Okay. Okay, let me switch back over to my desktop and back into my application. All right, so first I'm going to jump into Outlook real quick, and this will just be a quick high-level kind of look at Outlook here. One thing you'll notice is this little two-person icon is basically means that this email is tracked in CRM, and here's a quick link to that person's contact record in CRM. So I could quickly go to that record, or if I click on View in CRM, that would open up this email in CRM, or I could even take it one step further and say, hey, it looks like they're interested in one of our new products that we're launching this spring. Hey, let's go ahead and turn this into a lead. And if I click on lead here, this will go ahead and based on the information it finds in the email, depending on where it came from, it may not always have the first name, last name separated. And I could, if I know the company, I can put that in, or I could just leave the lead like that. I can go ahead and convert this into a lead record. And now this will, it'll open up here, and I can go ahead and edit it some more. But maybe I have a workflow behind the scenes to say, when a new lead is created, I want it to go ahead and send it over to one of our sales managers or sales team or something like that. That could all be auto populated through a workflow. So as my lead opens up here, first time I do this a little bit slower since there's a little cache there, but the lead record pops up here. I have access to that same process flow, the same data that we saw when we were in the web app as well. Just a second to make sure it's loading up on your side here before we jump out of it here. But so again, I can enter in more information about the lead. I can start going through the process flow, or maybe assign this over to someone else as well. So, but that's basically done right through Outlook. I can basically take this email and get it quickly into opportunity, a lead, or a case. Another nice point where we integrate with is our address book. So as I'm creating a new email, I may have a ton of contacts that I work with. I may not remember their email addresses, or maybe they may not. Maybe I haven't emailed them for a while, so they're not showing up in my Outlook cache. We do have access to all the CRM accounts, contacts, leads, anything with an email address in the system. We have access to that through the address book, and so I can go ahead and I can select contacts. I can select accounts, depending on what I may need or what I may need access to. So there's the contacts coming in when I can see their email addresses. Hit OK here. I can go ahead and hit track, and that'll make sure that it tracks this email in CRM. Or if I just hit set regarding, this will track it as well. And I could set regarding to maybe an opportunity, a case that we're working on, or whatever record in CRM this may be for. That way it ties it, you can actually tie it to two different things, the contact as well as something else in the system if you want to. Or you can just hit track and tie it just to that contact record. I can pull in templates from CRM. I can pull in KD articles from CRM, and I can pull in sales literature. So if you have documents you send out regularly, like in this example, a price sheet or a brochure, you can store those as a sales literature and add those right into your Outlook client or into your email as you're sending that email out. So that would send that email out as a tracked email, and basically upload that into CRM. So any replies back and forth would get tracked in CRM as well. Similar concept, if I go over to my calendar, if I'm creating a new meeting or a new appointment, you'll see I have the track option at the top here. So as soon as I click on track and I basically send this meeting out, it's going to put that in CRM against the contacts that I have on this appointment. And same goes for tasks and contacts as well. I have that same track button at the top where I can, and maybe as I get started with CRM, I have a couple contacts here that are in my Outlook, but I don't have them in CRM yet. I can select them, and I can go ahead and I can click on track, and that's going to go ahead and send them up into CRM as contacts. And you notice the icons are starting to change now, so the Renee's track now, and Susan's icon should change shortly here. So they both would be tracked in the system. And if I were to change the CRM contact information, that syncs back and forth depending on what I change. If I change it in CRM, it syncs down. If I change it in Outlook, it syncs back up to CRM. The last thing I just want to show quick in Outlook is, now you've seen, through email, through contacts, appointments and stuff, we can kind of see some CRM data or get some CRM data. But I can also access all the CRM entities, whether that be my leads, my opportunities, my contacts, my accounts, campaigns, whatever it may be, all through Outlook. And so I can actually come in here and let's just go ahead and open up one of the contact records here. This is just going to open it up in CRM like I would be in the web app. So it's going to open up the web form for me, but I can then start making modifications to this contact record from the website, but I launched it from within Outlook. So again, I can take advantage of accessing some of that data through Outlook, but still that same web form that you're familiar with seeing from the web client. A few other things you can take advantage of since I'm in Outlook. If you like Outlook task functionality, maybe I need to follow up with some of these contacts. I just don't have time this week, so I'm busy doing presentations. I'm gonna go ahead and click on follow up next week. What that'll do is that'll create. You'll notice a little flag icon here. Now it'll flag this contact. But if I pull in my to-do bar, pull in my tasks to-do bar, I should have next week task for follow up with Corey here. And so that's just another added advantage of integrating CRM with Office 365 and specifically Outlook at this point is you just get those key capabilities where, if you like the task functionality in Outlook, you can add leads or your opportunities to follow up with in your task list, and so forth. All right, let me jump back to the web client for the next few parts of the demo here. I'm going to go, the next part we'll talk about is the SharePoint side of things. Again, there's another high-level overview of this. Let's go ahead and bring up active accounts. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just pick one that probably hasn't been used before. Let me just grab one of these here. So if you're accessing a new account record or you just created an account record, and you come up to the top here, there's a little sub-menu drop-down. Not everyone finds this right away because it's basically just looks like it's part of the name here. But you hit this drop-down. This is kind of a sub-menu of all the related items that are related to this account that we're looking at. So I could see related cases, related opportunities, orders, invoices, and so forth. Some of this information is on the form itself that I could see. But if you wanted a little bit more details, or maybe not everything's on the form, I can come up here. But here's where you'll find documents. So if I click on documents here, since this is probably the first time I'm going into this account, it's going to say, hey, we didn't find a folder for this account. Do you want to create one? I can click on confirm. And that's going to go back out to, let me try that one more time. That should have gone back out to SharePoint. Hopefully someone didn't break my demo here. Sorry, let me try one more account real quick.
Oh, it must look like Tony's truck or something.
All right.
Yeah. Rena called Tony.
Okay, let me try this one more time. I'll try a different account here. I'm not sure. I should have forgot to test this out here. Maybe I don't have a connection to SharePoint right now. Okay, so this one had already been out there before, so it already had created the folder. I also have to double check my other one didn't connect right away, but so this already has a folder for me, and it's already got a couple documents on it. But you can see here from just this quick view, it looks like these files are in Dynamics CRM. But actually, if I click on upload here, you'll notice it actually has kind of that SharePoint upload look and feel. So I click on browse, and do I have a document on documents? Shoot, I don't even have a document on here. Sorry about that. I'm doing this from a different. Let's do this one more time here. Browse. Let's do. New text doc. Something in here real quick so it saves that. All right. So I'll upload that document, and that's just actually just a text file, but I upload it and it looks like it's in CRM. But if I click on this Open SharePoint will take me right out to that SharePoint location that this folder was created. And again, we'll get into more on tomorrow's call on the SharePoint integration and kind of how to create this. But you see, I uploaded it. It shows up in SharePoint. I can upload files from the SharePoint side, and that will then show up in CRM. And also, SharePoint has some ability to create some custom fields. So maybe you have an approval status or approval kind of process flow. Some of that data can also be showing up in CRM. And again, we'll cover that in more detail tomorrow on how to do that. But this is just kind of a nice way to upload larger documents, especially if you have a lot of documents that you need collaboration on, or are maybe larger documents. Because I mentioned with the CRM online space, you initially get 5 gigabytes of space. Well, if you're uploading 5 or 10 megabyte size documents, and you upload a few of those to each of your accounts, that can eat up your hard drive space pretty quick as far as the database size. So having this integration with SharePoint gives you larger storage capabilities, and purchasing more storage is a lot cheaper on the SharePoint side because it's file storage versus database storage. All right, so let me, one last thing I'll just kind of show here too is maybe you need to create a document on the fly. Well, we can quickly jump into one of these items. Let's just jump into Word. That'll take me out to Word Online. Proposal. So if I click on that, that's actually creating the document, and it should jump me into Word Online here. It's doing it right. Okay, it's thinking here. My computer's being a little, or my demo machine's being a little slow here. Okay, so I'm having an issue connecting to my online account. What that should do, let me just try an existing one, is it should launch Word Online like this, and then I can start editing the document, putting in whatever I need to do there, and then when I close it out, it'll automatically save that back here, and I actually have a document. So I'll make sure that that's working for tomorrow, because obviously we need to talk a little bit more deeper on the SharePoint side. So I'll show that again tomorrow. All right. On the link and Skype side, as far as how we integrate with them, I talked a little bit about the presence information. Let me go ahead and go into one of these records. I might need to do this from my other machine, because I don't know if I'll have the link state. Yeah, let me just do this real quick. Let me just jump back out to my other. The one thing nice about the Skype for Business integration is the only thing you really need is your Skype client installed, and CRM just takes advantage of that. So if I were to go to my contacts list here, I should see, since I have Skype on here, seriously, I have some presence indication. See, Ankit here is online. I can go ahead and I can instant message him real quick, or I can see that I'm in a call, so I may not want to message myself right now, but I could send an email, or I could phone call. So these are just normal Skype for Business functionality, or what used to be called Link. So nothing new there. Just a matter of since I have a Skype client installed, CRM finds that and basically says, oh hey, I can give you the presence information for the emails that I can find in your system. Now let me go ahead and go into the contact record here. And from within the contact record, let me just make sure this isn't a valid phone number. I won't actually call it, but I can click on phone number, and by clicking on that, notice it jumps me out to my Skype client, and so I can say click to call, and that would go ahead and start the call up for me. I'm going to cancel that for now because I don't want to end our call. But you'll see is once I clicked on that phone number, CRM thought, well, hey, you're clicking on a phone number, you must be making a phone call. You probably want to take some notes about this call. So as I'm talking, I could put in some notes here. Maybe I left them a voicemail. I could, check a little box for left voicemail. But then this allows me to quickly get a phone call record created kind of on the fly as I'm talking to the contact. So that's a little bit about our Skype for Business integration there. Let's look at the Yammer post. In order to do that, let me go to an account record. And let me get active accounts, and let me get this one. I think I have a lot more more items in this one here. So I mentioned during the slides that Yammer kind of gives you the ability to collaborate. And so maybe I'm working on this account, and maybe I was just on a call with them, and they had some questions that I just couldn't answer. So I'm like, I'll follow up with you on those. So maybe I need some help on new pricing info or something like that. So I can send that out, and what this is going to do, it's going to tie it to this record. So if I'm in Yammer, I can actually look at this record and see all what's been talked about on this thread. But I also have the ability to post this to a certain group. So right now, maybe the Dynamics CRM sales team isn't the best group to answer my question. Maybe I need to get to our HC sales reps. So I can actually put in a certain sales rep or a certain person. Maybe I know who the licensing expert is. I could put in that person. Maybe Hampton is a licensing specialist. So I can go ahead and add him in there too, or whatever you need to do. That would just kind of notify them. Basically, kind of sends them an email that, hey, you've been mentioned in a post. You may want to go check it out. Otherwise, this will just post it into this group, and then anyone monitoring that group would be able to see that. So if I post that out to Yammer, so here I just posted this. So if I actually go out to Yammer, let me just go ahead and log in here. And so since I have it in my Office 365 subscription, you notice I have Yammer as one of my options, and that's what basically gives me access or gives me that link to the website. So here I come into the website, and if I go to, I think it was HC sales reps that we were looking at. Here, if I'm looking at this group, I can see, oh, hey, it looks like Corey needs some help on this question. Maybe I have some information that'll help them. Of course, I'm not I should log into someone else here, but I'll say here is the new licensing details, and I could even attach a document, upload from your computer. I'll just grab I have a Word document here. I'll just grab this right here. So I'll just go ahead and post that. And so I just responded to that through Yammer. If I go back to my CRM record here, if I navigate away, if I'm like looking at something else, I come back to the Yammer post, I can see, oh, looks like someone replied to me. Oh, they attached a document. I could go to the file, I could download it. And so I can basically start collaborating with people, non-CRM folks as well, right through Yammer. The other capability that we provide, so this is just kind of more, conversations back and forth. But, during the life of a lead or an opportunity or even an account, there are certain things that happen in the system. Like there could be a support case that gets created for this customer. And maybe I'm going to visit them, tomorrow, and I would like to know that, or at least know what are the most recent items that have happened around this account. Well, I could come in and I could look at the system post, and I could see, looks like they had an opportunity that was just created. Oh, it looks like they did have a support case. Maybe I want to actually drill into that support case and take a look at it, see is it resolved, or am I going to be talking to an upset customer tomorrow? I can kind of see that information just because CRM knows that, hey, we have these system posts that we will post out to the wall that will kind of give them information about the latest happenings with that account. Now, if this is one of my key accounts that I work with all the time, I may want to follow this account. So right now I'm already following it. But so if I click follow here, then this changes to unfollow. But what that gives me the ability to do is instead of coming into the account record, I can actually go to my what's new area. And here I can see a list of for everything that I'm following, what are some of the new things that have just happened with those records. And so As I come in here, I can see here's some of the recent posts that have happened, but I also want to see the system posts, and I can see the different contacts were created or a case was created. Looks like here's that case that was just created. I can drill into that installation there and see what's going on with that case. Maybe I want to filter by a certain. Maybe I just want to see just accounts, or I want to see just leads. And you can kind of filter down by what you want to see. Maybe just my active accounts. And so I can see in one of my active accounts, Adams Corp has a case that was just created today, and that was the one that we tested out through the demo there. And so it's just kind of giving you a way to quickly view new information in the system without having to kind of dig for it, kind of surfacing it up for you. All right, and then the last thing I'll demo here is just quickly the admin portal. So as an admin, I can come into Office 365, and those that are familiar with Office 365, this will look very, very similar, other than you're probably seeing some CRM stuff in here now. But this is where I can come and see the CRM health of the service health of my services, so CRM, Exchange, and so forth. If I want to add users, I can come in and add users. Let me just go ahead and grab one here. I'll just show you, if you want to add different licenses to a user. One thing that's nice with CRM is we look at all the users you have in the system, and as soon as you give them a license, we then, in like a sync interval, like maybe a couple of minute sync interval, we sync that into CRM as a CRM user. And so let me just go ahead and select a user here. Let's just click on edit. If my screen is really slow today. Click on edit here. And if we, inside this user account, we can grant them different licenses and subscriptions. And this would be, if I go to licenses here, the same spot you would do it for Office 365, for Exchange, for any of the services you're subscribed to, you can give them access right in here. So CRM, Parature, Office 365, all that's right there. And once I give them a CRM license, they'll get basically synced over to CRM, and then I can give them a CRM security role in the system, and then they have access to CRM. So it's kind of nice here. One portal to manage all your services, quick access to anything that you have a license for. So if you had a user that just had access just to CRM and say their mailbox, when they hit this, they would just see these two options. Depending on what permissions, what roles they have in the system, we'll give them access to different functionality. So, all right, let me go back to my slides quick, and we'll kind of finish up on the licensing topic, and let's see if there's any questions before I get to there. Okay, I also see a question there. All right, let's go down here. So a little bit on licensing. I mentioned earlier, CRM is available through volume licensing, so whether that be an enterprise agreement, the open volume licensing channel, the education channel, so academic licenses are available, as well as not-for-profit are available, or direct purchase through the online portal. So if you have a customer that just wants to sign up directly through the portal, pay monthly, and do it that way, they can do it right through the portal. There are some restrictions when you purchase through enterprise agreement or some of the direct from Microsoft. There is a 5 professional user limit, or not limit, but minimum that you need to purchase. If you go through open volume licensing, there is no minimum purchase there. So that may change down the road here too, but right now there is some minimum limits, minimum licenses you have to purchase to get CRM. So if you were to just go out to the admin portal, or not the admin portal, but to the online portal and purchase directly Dynamics CRM Online, it would be $65 per user per month, and that gives you access to sales, service, and marketing, so everything we talked about today. If you have 10 professional licenses or more, you will get access to social engagement, which is the product we'll talk about at the last session of this week. And then you get the 5 gigabyte database and basically access to the service and everything like that for the $65 per user per month. Now there is an enterprise option where you can purchase basically the CRM Professional Dynamics Marketing, Parature, and social engagement all together for $200 per user per month. That includes all 4 services. And if you were to break up services individually, it's over. I know it's over 300 or probably closer to 400. So you're saving almost half by bundling them together in the enterprise SKU. Now you don't have to pick one or the other. You could have 3 users using the enterprise SKU and maybe 10 users using the online professional SKU. The online professional ones just wouldn't have access to Dynamics Marketing or Parature and so forth. So depending on what your users need access to, they can choose between them. Now there is one license. Let me double check if I have I might have that coming up in the slide deck. But there is one license below this that's a basic license that gives you read access into the system and write access to a few entities, and so that's a little bit cheaper per user per month, and we can talk about that here in a minute. So I wanted to call it the first set of license, or first set of numbers here, the $65 per user per month just for CRM. We actually have a sales productivity promotion going on through the end of September, and this has been going on pretty much all summer as well, so you may have seen it already. But you can get Dynamics CRM Online, the Office 365 E3 SKU, and Power BI all for $65 per user per month. So basically, paying for CRM Online, you basically get Office 365 and Power BI for free, basically, if you look at it that way. I know on the bottom of the slides here it says through 6/30. That promotion was extended, so it actually is through September 30th, like the corner of the slide mentions. I forgot that it was actually in that little fine print down there. Now, if you already have a customer that's on Office 365, they can add on CRM Online and Power BI for $45 per user per month, which basically, I think the E3 SKU is running right around $20 per month anyway. So basically, you would be at that $65 per user per month. And then also within the promotions, we have the Enterprise SKU. Basically $50 off the enterprise SKU, so you get that for $150 instead of the $200 now through September, or through the end of September. Here, this slide, I'm not going to go through it entirely because there's a lot of information on here, but it's more for your reference. But I mentioned, so we have the enterprise SKU, we have the professional SKU, and we have that basic SKU, which gives you read access to basically everything in the system. And then write access to leads, accounts, contacts, activities, notes, and cases. And so if you have users that write access to those 6 main entities, they may be able to get by with a basic license. Otherwise, they would want to go with professional. For you as a partner, maybe you're developing a custom solution on top of CRM, and you're not utilizing any of the out-of-the-box entities other than maybe activities, so you're not using the out-of-the-box accounts or contacts or anything like that, your customers may be able to get by with the Essential license, which is the last one, for $15 per user per month. But that's if they're only using your custom entities and then access to the out-of-the-box activities within CRM. So depending on the scenario, it may be an option for that. But if you're going to use accounts or contacts that are out of the box, then you're at least at the basic level for the costs there. There are some different supports enhancement plans. So with your subscription, you get the basic standard subscription support. Fastest response time is basically next business day. Well, now if you want enhanced support and basically increase some of the time to the SLAs, the time to response, there are some plans you can get per individual. The basically more enhanced support, so basically better response time, access to some training materials on customer source, maybe even if you go all the way up to the Premier level, you could get a dedicated Premier resource. Or like an account manager that can help you out as well, get you to the right teams and so forth. So there's some different levels of support that you can purchase as well. For a little bit more information on that productivity offer, if you have any customers that are interested, within the next 9 days, or they're already looking at CRM Online, and they want to purchase directly on the portal, they could take advantage of that productivity offer. There are some promotions also going through, I think, on the EA or basically through volume licensing, where they have some discounts there as well. So just keep that in mind if you have a customer that needs to purchase through other mechanisms. So I know that was a lot of overview information in the last, little less than 2 hours. A couple of go-dos, we have the next few sessions over the next couple of days, but after this week, if you haven't signed up for your IUR benefits, I would strongly recommend that. Add them right into your Office 365 subscription. That way you can take advantage of some of the things that we're going to be talking about over the next few days, like the SharePoint integration, Teams integration, Yammer, and so forth. Those will plug in nicely if you have CRM Online and your Office 365 subscription all in the same tenant versus having them separate. There are some links to some additional product videos, an integration guide, just some other learning information, especially for those that are new to CRM and just getting the practice going. Feel free. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that you can take advantage of, but here's some other links to some more information should you need it. So I know we got about 9 minutes left here for Q&A. Before I jump into the Q&A, I know there's a few polling questions.